Welcome to Blood in the Snow Radio, where we give you the latest news and interviews with the best in Canadian genre cinema. Here are your hosts, Robert Bellamy and Festival Director Kelly Michael Stewart.
We are still here on day 2 of Blood in the Snow 2024, and Kelly, these guys, I've been waiting to chat with them because I should ask them first why they made this film. We'll find out.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If I get you to introduce yourselves and the project you're with a little synopsis of what it's about.
I'm Brian Rowe.
I'm Desirée van der Laar, and we're the effects artist of Locked in the Cellar Creations, and we are also the filmmakers of Dungeon of Death.
Excellent. And what's Dungeon of Death about?
Dungeon of Death is about the torturer, medieval torturer Rollin, who is really having a good time with his job. Except today, his victim is not quite behaving as he's expecting.
Oh, I like how that's put. Yeah. What made you decide to make this film?
We just recently celebrated our 10-year anniversary for Locked in the Cellar Creations. So we've worked on a lot of other people's effects, and a lot of the times they, either they won't shoot it right or it gets very little screen time. That's the bane of every effects artist's existence. Is you spend weeks on something and it's on screen for a fraction of a second. So, and there's also things we've always wanted to do ourselves that, we just wait and that never comes up in a project. So, do you want to take over?
Yeah, so and then we were looking around at all this stuff that we have in our storage unit. We have a whole dungeon set, and we have all these props, and we just looked at each other and we said to each other, we should just make a movie with all the stuff that we have. Well, so that's basically how it started. And it snowballed from there.
When you have a dungeon in your basement, it just calls for it.
It's actually in the storage unit, but not the basement.
But yeah, no, and I definitely sense that watching it. It was just like this is the uncompromising, because usually you just have that little, like you're saying, that little bit of violence and then it's cut away, and you're like, no, this one's gonna you're gonna get the full Monty, so to speak, on this. So.
Yes. Our Desirée is the one who wrote the script.
Yes, I did. I just wanted to come up with a story that showcased our effects. But at the same time, it still had to be a good story. It still had to have good characters, because so often when you see a movie that's just about the effects, that's just a showcase, there's really not much of a story to speak of. But I wanted to do that differently. I wanted to, if we're going through all this trouble, then I want it to be good.
Absolutely. And you guys have done lots of effects. I know you did the effects for a friend of mine's film, Hole in Your Head.
Mm-hmm.
Like a hole in the head, sorry. And that was like a full prosthetic mask that you guys made.
Yes. Yeah, that was a fun one to do.
Yeah. We've done everything from, silicone mat, like full over-the-head silicone. In the case of Head and Hole, that was more of a mask sort of thing, like a silicone mask. But we've done prosthetics, and we've used various means of tearing people into pieces and in half and stuff like that.
Yeah, we make props and we make replica heads and body parts and everything that you can't do with your actors in real life. We come up with ways that it can still be done on screen.
And as you're saying, this is your 10th anniversary for your company, and you did a celebration screening this summer in Hamilton, and just talk about that, and then the journey of this last 10 years doing this.
We did. So for our 10th anniversary, we actually used the Westdale Theatre in Hamilton, and we showed a whole short film block of all short films that we had done effects for. Because short films are a lot easier for showing off effects, because 10 minutes, here's your effects, and then you're on to the next film, where instead of watching a 90-minute movie and getting a couple of effects sprinkled in there. So that went really well. It showed off.
Yeah, we had a really good turnout too.
Yes, the Westdale was quite surprised with the turnout. And yeah.
And yeah, like we were saying too, you have a couple of Parasitic and Invited. I think were the two. Is that did I miss any ones? Because
Nope.
That's right. We have three movies that we worked on
Yeah.
in bits this year. That's Parasitic that played last night,
Yeah.
Dungeon of Death tonight, and then on Thursday, Invited.
Yeah. So
Invited has quite the
impressive.
effects in it.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. Like roster like that, in very different kinds of films too, and yeah.
We
Excellent.
were very excited when we saw the full lineup of the festival, and
Yeah.
we saw all these familiar names.
Yeah.
So how has it been being on a festival circuit for your film and not just, I did the effects in that film?
We basically just started. We've been so busy working on other people's films that it took us a full 18 months to finish our short film, just because it kept getting put on the back burner while we worked on other people's projects again. So we finally, just the end of this past summer, we finally had it done, color corrected, the whole bit, ready to go. But that was a long road, just trying to find time to finish it off.
Yeah, well, I remember I can't remember when we met first, but I just remember talking about the project at Shockstock. You were doing a fundraiser, and I got the shirt and all that kind of like that too. It's like you were getting that together. I can't remember if that was last year or the year before, but you were putting together that probably. So I know you've been working on this project for quite a while. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, like Brian just said, like it's been 18 months from start to finish. We finished it in August, and that's when our festival run started. So we've been in 5. This is going to be the 5th screening tonight. 2 weeks ago, we were in Kitchener at the Fable Forest Film Festival, and we won Best Horror there. So that was our first award.
Very nice.
Congrats.
And how does that feel going out? Like it's different when it's somebody else's film, but now you guys are accepting an award for your film. Like, how does that feel?
I guess it is different, because instead of just showing up, 'cause when we work on other people's films, one problem we always have is we always sometimes feel like an outsider, because a movie might shoot for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and the whole cast and crew has been together for those 3 weeks. Then we show up for 2 or 3 days or 4 days for effects. So everybody already knows each other and all that stuff. We show up, we do a few effects, and then we go home. Which is actually kind of nice, because then when we shot our own film, it was 18 months of it never going away, and always
It's
putting
very
a lot
different.
of work into it. So.
Yeah, but it's very exciting to see it on the screens now, and to get all the everything that we did on it was us. Like we produced it, we did the editing, we did the. We had a lot
Special
of
effects.
friends help out with the.
For the odd person who
Post.
does stay and watch the credits, Desiree's name is in there 12 times.
Independent film. Welcome to it. Yes.
That's pretty standard actually for the Film Suite show.
There's like 6 people on the crew. And there's
Yeah.
85
Huge,
jobs.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to do another one?
I am writing, but I think I will let the producing be done by someone else for the next one.
I think this was Desiree's first and last time producing a film.
It was a lot more work. than
Producers
I,
don't get the credit they
expected.
deserve.
It's not. I think producing is like I've produced a couple of movies, and it's the most thankless job you could possibly have on the film. So it's It can be rewarding in some areas, but it's definitely one of the hardest for the.
And this is the best time to ask that question too, because you're on the high of the festival circuit. So if you still say, "I don't think so," it's not going to change once this is
That's
over.
true. Yeah, this is when everything is the happiest, right?
This is
Exactly.
when we go back to thinking about that. It was nice when we'd spend maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks, 3 months, whatever, in the workshop building stuff, and then showing up on set for a few days, and then being done with it. That was kind of nice, as opposed to spending months on the effects and Desiree having to find
And
the
having
locations
to spend
and
months
everything else.
on the editing and everything. Yeah, it was a lot.
So now I know Michael's in it. I can't remember the actor who played the torturer.
That was Keith Busher.
There we go.
Yeah,
That
this was actually his first time that he acted in a film. Like
Oh,
he's
really?
been a theater actor before, he's a friend of ours, and he asked if he could send in audition.
An audition tape, yeah.
And we were like, yeah, sure, Keith, you can send in an audition. And then when we watched it, he just blew us away. Like he was the character.
And he went up against auditions from people who had credits the length of your arm. So some
Really?
people were really good with an accent. Some people were really good with a character. One guy was really good, but he was too good looking to be our torturer.
okay.
So it was probably one
I'm
of the
sure
best
Keith will
rejections he ever
appreciate
got.
that.
Well, we're sorry, but you're too good looking. So,
Yeah, but Keith, he just blew us away. He was perfect for the role of the demented torturer who is having way too much fun with his work.
Did you have the dreaded theater actor problem? We had one actor come from theater to help us, and he constantly yelled because they're used to projecting.
well, the character himself does a lot of yelling
Well,
in
that's
our
true,
script.
too,
so
actually, yeah.
it
Maybe
kind of
that's what
fit.
he was doing, but it was perfect.
So it did fit. So how do people get a hold of you? Like, obviously not for your next picture, but to do effects. How do they reach you?
Well, we have a website, which is lockedinthecellar.ca. And there are several ways to contact us on the website.
And you're quite active at the conventions. That's how we like that. You're doing some helping us with some photo stuff here, and we did that last year as well. And we kind of see you're pretty active in all the different kind of conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know Shockstock, you have a huge setup for people to take pictures in.
We do a few conventions a year. I think Shockstock, Niagara Falls Comic Con, and Frightmare in the Falls is our biggest one. That's when we do that's when all the stuff comes out of the storage unit.
Yeah, we had 3 photo ops there this last Halloween.
Yeah.
Excellent. So check out the festivals check out the Comic-Cons. They'll see you there. And watch for Dungeon of Death.
Yes.
Excellent, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having us.
Join us next time for Blood in the Snow Radio. Bits Radio is a production of Three Evil Cats Productions in association with the Blood in the Snow Canadian Film Festival. For more information and to listen to other episodes, visit bloodinthesnow.ca and tweet us at BitsFilmFest. Music by Jen Gorman, produced and edited by Kelly Michael Stewart. I am Eduardo